G'day friends, welcome to today's YouTube video. Cat hair. My name is James, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Today I have 10, I think there's 10, I wrote down 10 little bits of Collage Club for August 2024. And I wanted to let you kind of see how I get them integrated into my journals. I show a lot of what I create for Collage Club, obviously. I go through those monthly videos where I kind of explain what's in Collage Club every month, but rarely do I actually show you using the stuff. I just assume that you see photos of it, and then you're like, oh, that's where that ended up. But I thought today would be a fun, well, I thought this last week, it would be a fun thing to show, and then I had absolutely no time to do it. So apologies for this late video, but I hope you enjoy it nonetheless. The first one's already zoomed by. They're all going to be pretty quick, actually. That was a little ink bottle that I sketched, and I did an ink swatch. I mean, you could do any kind of swatch with the art supplies, obviously, but I thought that was fun because it was a little ink bottle. So I just did a little ink swatch there of a fluorescent Liquitex ink that lives over there and I rarely use. And then the second one was, it was a little pencil hat. And so I just attached it to a pencil drawing I already had. Just a cute little piece of decoration. Obviously, a lot of Collage Club is ephemera for decorating, but sometimes I have like little ideas that I think are just a little bit beyond, you know, cutting it out, sticking it down. Most of it is that, but some things are a little bit more interactive as well. So these pieces here are two sketches that represent the character's fear and joy from inside out. And they actually have, in the silhouette cut file that I put in there, they have this circle cut out. So the little memory ball that they have. And that was something that I used for an earthquake, because I know it's crazy to put joy in there, but I obviously have fear for the earthquake, but I use joy because I have a really good coping mechanism that's been working very well for me and making that PTSD a lot more bearable. So it's kind of like a happy and fearful kind of bit of journaling, so that kind of works with both of them. I layered them over the top of each other so I could kind of put them both together. Here are two little cats in a frame, and I use this to anchor a tip into my journal. I feel like I could use washi tape, and I do use washi tape a lot, or I use regular sticky tape nowadays a lot as well. Sometimes I just don't want any decoration, I just want to stick something in. But also stickers, I mean, if it's a small enough piece of ephemera, you actually don't need tape at all, you can use stickers. And as long as you put one on the front, one on the back, usually it stays stuck down. This one here is, I didn't give any of these names, like there's no certain technique to any of this, but I'm intersecting the page, like I'm splicing the page in half, because this mermaid ephemera is quite big. It's from my mermaid journal, and a lot of the mermaids in there that were really, really big didn't feature like the end of their hair or the end of their tail. So they kind of trailed off to the edge of the page. So in that same vein, I used this to separate the page. And I put it over the pages that I'm supposed to journal on. I know it's kind of hectic to do that in a 5-year journal because you just don't know what's going to come up for the next 5 years. But I think that's next year's problem or 2028's problem. That's not 2024's problem. So I don't mind doing that. I put a bit of color to kind of bridge the gap of where it didn't quite cut everything off. And I don't really matter that it's not a seamless blend. Optically, if you kind of blur your eyes a little bit, it's blended enough into the page. And it does really kind of cut it all off. I think it's interesting, and I wanted to put it in May because typically, well, not typically, but I have in the past done Mermaid, and I did it this year, and I may do it again in the next 5 years, and she'll already be there, so she's great. Love that. I like to cut the pages up sometimes. It can be a little bit daunting to see just full empty pages, so if you can kind of splice them all up, it feels better, compartmentalize everything. Here is just using it as is, but I like the fact that some of the ephemera has space to journal on and to write on, especially if I've got pages that are pretty full, but aren't necessarily pieces of ephemera that I need to see. Like, it's mostly just junk that I've put down there. So if I've got something that has a little bit of space for writing, that's great for those pages and I can get that on. Here I have a torn page, and I'll be completely honest, I tore it for this video because usually I don't do it on a torn page. And for some reason in my head, I thought I had to have a good enough reason to do this, but it's not. Decoration is reason enough alone. But if you do have a torn page, much like the Japanese art of kintsugi, where they use the gold lacquer to fix breaks in ceramic or porcelain, you can fix that tear with decoration and kind of highlight it a little bit. Obviously we cover it up and it's functional, and so now it's stuck all back together, but I just kind of wrote, what did I write this? Gutter deco. Gutter decoration. So you can call it that if you want. I've done this before more on a diagonal, and I'm not quite sure. I think I've done it a couple of times where I just did straight up and down the gutter, but I kind of like it. I also like it with washi tape, to take different washi tape designs and patchwork them over the top of each other. Just creates a really vibrant, interesting, I don't know, piece of decoration. I do enjoy that. Here is another one of those pieces, much like the post-it note, that has some room for journaling, but a lot smaller. I would use it for a date, and because I did end up covering up the date in this one, perfect reason to get that on there and write out that that's May 24th, so I don't forget. I don't think I would forget, but just in case, I have that piece of ephemera. Here, I'm going to Frankenstein this one a little bit. Not really, I'm just kind of removing its body. I cut around the arms because I want the arms to still be with the hands on the face. I think he's cute like that, little green alien. And I'm going to place him over a piece of ephemera so it kind of looks like he's peeking up from behind. I was going to say, like, if you layered it down first and then put your ephemera over it, you could avoid having to cut it, but you couldn't because you need those arms to stick out on the top. So if you've got something that you can kind of, cut around the top part of, you can kind of sit them and look like they're layered into the piece. It helps to get ephemera to all kind of blend together. If you've got a lot of stuff that you're sticking in, sometimes merging the layers, it's kind of a Photoshop term, you can merge those layers by having a piece that kind of brings the foreground into the background, because you kind of assume that his alien body is behind that piece, that he's sitting over the top of it. So sometimes I'll cut out pieces like that and just use them like that. And then this one is a draw over. A lot of the pieces that I put in Collage Club are just original illustrations that I've done just in my journal for whatever reason. Challenges, just for fun, old things reworked into new things. It's just all the stuff that I do in journaling that I love to share. And then this was a gouache painting, I believe. I want to say it was gouache. It was a really random sketchy painting that I did in my planner, I think. And then I wanted to put this post-it note, it's a craft paper post-it note, just over the top and then redraw her face. I like the idea that people might do this because then the ephemera becomes collaborative, and I don't also always love to draw everything from start to finish, and I certainly don't love to draw things in their entirety. Like I don't mind just, for the most part, drawing the face, the hair, the kind of neckline. I don't need to draw a full figure every time I draw something. So I like the idea that, I don't even have to start. It's like how I do the stamps. I don't have to start by drawing the whole base of something. I can use this ephemera that I already have and that I'm kind of into, kind of stimulates me to want to do something. It kind of inspires me to want to draw, and then just smack a piece of paper over the top of it. I could do the whole thing maybe with a transparent paper and kind of trace and rework it. But I really love to draw faces, really. I love to draw the face and really focus in on the eyes. So in this way, I kind of get to still have a finished piece, but I really only had to rework that middle bit. And I mean, I'm collaborating with my past self, but I think when you do this, and oh, Steve's got messages. I think when you do this, it's a way for the work to become your own and to make it feel more like you had your hand in it as well, because there's a lot of ephemera that I add to Collage Club, and I love that people use a lot of it, but I also know that people want things to feel very personalized and very, what do you mean? I don't know, like it comes from themselves as well. And in this particular case, if you just got a bunch of Post-its and you cut it, I mean, a lot of the time the ephemera is small enough, you can cut it right at that sticky part and just post it over the top, redraw it. You can even make a fun kind of aspect like that it is here. It's very painterly behind the back, like in the background of it. And then the Post-it note is a lot more sketchy. There's a lot more line work going on. It's not as colorful as what's going on. The style kind of changed, and it looks like it's kind of a completely different thing. So I really like that. I enjoy the drawovers. I think you might enjoy those too. That is it for this video. It was very, very quick. I hope you enjoyed just looking at some of how I get Collage Club into my work, into my journals. And I will link anything you might need to know about Collage Club down below if you would like to join. I will hopefully see you again this week for another video. Until then, bye.